Hello, guys. Hello. A bit of an impromptu stream today. For those of you that don't know, my name is Shadow. I stream every day or as often as possible. The daytime streams are usually at 12 p.m. If I wake up on time, Eastern times. The nighttime streams, which are the main streams, are at 8 p.m. Eastern times. Thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I think we're gonna play some DCUO, DC Universe Online, guys. What I thought we would do is make a new hero and then like play through one of the storylines, right? Try to get to 30, and you can see like the leveling process and things like that. Uh, this game is kind of a toss up, right? For me, I only play it a lot because I'm like, I've been playing it for a long time. On and off, I played it almost on release, like maybe 2 weeks after release when it came out. Excuse me, on the PlayStation 3 days, right? Played the first month it was out, played it for many years on PlayStation. Eventually switched over to Xbox, and then I played it off and on for Xbox for the past few years. Uh, For those of you that are only on console, if you want to play a superhero MMO, this is the only thing you got. So I thought I would show you guys what you can do in it. Uh, some forewarning. A lot of the starting costumes are not very good. Uh, the character edit could be a lot better, but it is a very old game, so we will give it some leeway, but not completely right. They're doing a graphical overhaul, to my knowledge, uh, this year, so it might look different depending on when you see this playthrough, and depending on when you start playing the game. I guess we'll wait and see. And we're gonna kick it off. What we're gonna do, guys, is we are gonna look at the opening cutscene, and then we're gonna make a character, just so you can see the character edit. But I have this character right here in mind. I made him, and he's fresh off the tutorial ship. But we can make like a starter character so you guys can see what it's like, and you can see the tutorial stage, and then we'll jump into him and we'll use him. He is a gadget hero. Uh, if you know who he's modeled after, big ups, right? He's not there yet with his costume. We have to get some bits and pieces. Hopefully, we can get that later on. We can also take a look at the characters I have, and they are in rotation almost all the time. I have three main ones, and other ones that can come and go. I'm trying to have a character with every power, so that's what we're gonna do eventually. Do well, me personally, that's what I'm gonna do, and we could take a look at them in a minute, guys. As soon as I take a sip of this coffee. Um, While I'm doing that, there are multiple backgrounds, right? You can change the background. Uh, it doesn't do much other than just flavor. For those of you that are on console, you have a lot better options than I do, right? There's City of Heroes. I heard there's like some servers up for that. There's Champions Online. I think there's a Ship of Heroes. I think is one of them. You guys have some things that you can do that I wish I had access to, right? I would definitely check them out, but unfortunately I don't. So we'll take a minute and look at all these backgrounds. I think each background came out when there was like a DLC, right? So each DLC had its own theme, and you would pick and and then you could have a new background for your character. But other than just like appearance, it doesn't really do anything for you. Guys, it's Friday, by the way. It's Friday. Happy Friday. I hope you're done with work. I hope you're not working on the weekend, guys. This is the background I like to choose usually, right? The rooftop background. And I think there's another one that I like to use, but we're going to keep it on the rooftop background. Sometimes it just changes and I can't be bothered to switch back. And we will take a look at the characters I'm currently using. Uh, this is Papa Soda Cola. He is due for a name change. I'm going to use this name as somebody else, but until we do that, that's what his name is. He's Sorcery. Uh, that's all there is to it. He's also due for a name change, but these are the main characters I use right now, right? So I have one of each side role, so one tank, one healer, and one controller. And that's that's the Trinity in this game. There's a tank, healer, and controller Trinity. This is the controller. He's mental powers. He's due for a name change. I do like the costume, so the costume is gonna stay. And this is my main character. This is Major Tryhard. He's atomic. He's a tank class. He has some pretty expensive materials on him. I'm not sure how well that translate. We would have to see it in like the sunlight, things like that. We have a munition specialist here. This is Gunbassador. Heartlight user, Green Lantern guys. I hope you, if you guys are looking at DC, I'm sure you know that this is like a superhero MMO and they have superpowers. So this is a Heartlight user, Fear Eraser. I just made this person yesterday to fill in the gaps. This is Poison Givey, guys. Hardy har har. Poison Givey. He uses nature. This is Viceroy. He's a gadgets user. We will be using him for our playthrough, I believe. Um, we'll see more of him later. I have to get some bits and pieces for him. This is the prayer. He uses celestial powers, and in this game, celestial powers are divine powers of light and darkness. It's a combo-based power slightly. This is Beta Male. He uses water powers. I think in this game, water powers are constructs, and they're like healing and things like that. We're using our other characters to get items for the seasonal that's going on the summer season, and we're giving it to him. We have Fingersnap. He is going to leave, but I need this name, so I'm sitting on the name right now. We're going to change him to something else. I haven't decided what yet. And this is Mr. Bitter. He's an ice user. We're going to make him kind of like a Mr. Freeze styled character. And then we have Speed Feet. And that's not all the powers in the game, right, guys? There's Quantum and other things like that. We will look at that in a moment. And that's the characters I have. That's the names I like so far. We're gonna change some stuff around. Like I said, this name when I lose it, if anybody's watching and wants it, I'll let you guys know what's up for grabs. As you guys know, on each server, right, whether it be on Xbox server or PC/PlayStation, if you have the name, nobody else can get it, right? So names are a big deal in this. So there's no other Papa Soda Cola running around. There's no other Major Tryhard running around. You would have to, put little brackets and little quotations and things around your name if you wanted to get a name that's similar. And these are the characters, guys. These are the characters I have. A lot of them are fresh, so they don't have the best costumes. And I think we'll start a new game, and we will look at the opening cutscene, and we will look at the character creation process after that.
Concentrate fire on Luthor while I call down some artillery. Deathstroke, time for you to join the party.
Come on! We've got lots of murdering to Nobody kills the bat but me!
Call him! Bring him to me! Madman! Adam! You don't deserve to live! Diana. Beaten by a mere man. No. You've lost everything. No. I beat you. Luthor!
Brainiac had returned. For years, he'd been stealing the powers of Earth's protectors, but we were too busy fighting amongst ourselves to see the danger. With you three dead, Brainiac quickly eliminated the remaining heroes. The lucky ones died fighting. Finally, I alone survived. A rat in the walls of the Brainiac construct. I have traveled through time to warn you. This is my past, but your future. And it means the end of humanity, so together, we must change it.
What have you done, Luthor?
Given you a fighting chance.
He's lying. It's some kind of trap. Why should we trust you?
Because if you don't, Earth is doomed. I've stolen Brainiac's exobytes and released them into Earth's atmosphere. They hold the powers stolen from the heroes and villains of my time, and will bestow them on anyone they contact. The exobytes will create a new breed of superhuman to fight Brainiac's invasion. You must teach them to use their new abilities, for they must be on the front line in the coming battle, or my grim future will become your own. I only hope I am not too late, for I will not be here to see this new future. My work is not yet done. I must leave this Earth to you. Claim the exobytes and take destiny into your own hands.
Targets identified. Select gender and body type.
Okay, guys, that was the intro. Probably one of the best parts of the game, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty grimdark future. For DC at least, alright. I guess we go through the hero making process now. We'll take a look at the options available at the start. I'll let you guys know when there's like some subscription slash monetary options in here, because a lot of the powers that came out after the game are like DLC content, or you'd have to subscribe to get. So I'll let you guys know them as we come across them. And we're going to just start with a male, and we'll take a look at things. The character creation is pretty bare bones. A lot of the textures are pretty old. With that said, there's supposed to be a graphical update coming soon. So we might see an overhaul in the textures. A lot of the newer stuff does look pretty good. The older stuff you're just going to have to work with until you get a few more levels in the game. And we'll just take a look at the basic body sizes. One of my main gripes with games like this is that you have body sizes, but there's nothing to bounce the character off of. So you won't really know until you get into the game, right? You'll just have to kind of eyeball your character and decide what you like, right? So we have the athletic bodies. Every size comes in medium, short, and tall, so just keep that in mind as well. So there's the athletic body type, right? Medium, short, and tall. Also, it's not really grouped good, is it? Like it should be like short, medium, tall, right? Or tall, medium, short. Uh, they have it ass backwards. I don't know why. They just do. So there you go. That's the athletic body types. This is Spry. This is like supposed to be if you're making like a sidekick or like like a Robin type character, like a like a smaller dude. So generally you pick Spry. I've never seen like a Spry medium or tall walking around, so I don't know how that looks. Just keep that in mind, guys. If you want to change your body type, you do need to pay for it, real money. So also that's something to consider, right? Don't get too far into the game and decide you don't like the body type, because you'll end up having to pay. And then we have the large body type, which is just a big muscular dude. And that's all you have. There's no sliders. There's no like, oh, I make them fat, things like that. This is all we got, guys. So you're gonna have to make a character based around one of these things. Right, athletic, usually the medium body types were the things that started off in the game. So if you want a general like moniker of like the base game, you would go with like medium. For now, we're gonna do athletic medium, and then you can pick custom or inspired by, and it should be pretty straightforward, right? Inspired by is if you want to be inspired by a hero or villain, and they'll give you a costume and they'll pick like your powers for you and things like that, so you won't have to worry about your starting weapon. If you just like are a Batman fan or a Superman fan, you could just jump right in there. You'll be as close as you possibly can be upon year one, like the game first coming out. You'll be as close as you can be to that character without doing a lot of the groundwork. So this is the Batman archetype. His movement mode is acrobatics. He uses gadgets for his power set, and martial arts is his weapon. There's three movement modes in the game, guys. There's super speed, flight, and acrobatics. Uh, Pretty straightforward with what they do. There's no mounts, right? So that's how you get around the world, is with your movement mode. And so, with Batman here, and they give you a little, like a little bio of what Batman does in case you didn't fucking know. All right, so there you go. Use your gadgets and use stealth and things like that. You're Batman. That's what you are. We have Superman here, the Superman archetype. It's not too bad looking, right, for a Superman archetype. Your power is ice. Superman's powers technically is not in the game, right? You can't make a one-for-one Superman character. Uh, you would have to use a combination of your weapon and some of the iconic powers, and then pick like I guess you would pick a tanky class. And ice was like the tank of tanks when the game first came out, which is why this role would be ice, right? But we all know Superman, he doesn't like turn into Iceman or anything like that, so you have to take that for what it's worth as well. But you can make a pretty decent Superman cosplay if you wanted, these days at least. So for this, your ice, your flight, you used a brawling weapon style, and that's all there is to it. Your side role is going to be a tank. Batman's is going to be a controller. Right, as you can see at the right hand side, they have their roles, right? So aside from being a damage dealer, you can also have a side role. And gadgets is controller. Ice is tank. They call it defense. I think defense is an old term before they scrapped it. And basically, it's just a tank. Defense is tank. And I don't know why they called it that. They should have changed that like 11 years ago. I just caught that, by the way. They need to do something about that. Here we have Catwoman. Obviously, I'm not, I'm using a male, so it's giving me the male counterpart for a Catwoman. But you're a villain. You could also be a hero or villain. Guys, if you're playing this game, I highly advise that you pick a hero. The villain side is very underpopulated. And you can still play with villains in a lot of content. So even if you want a villainous theme, I would still say go hero side. But it's pretty straightforward. She also uses gadgets, acrobats, martial arts. Uh, you have Lex Luthor here. I guess they didn't know how to make a power suit, so you have his like little skin tighties underneath, and he uses gadgets. He can fly. Uh, Everything is very straightforward. Joker, he uses gadgets and he has acrobats. If you're using these archetypes, guys, and just remember, I highly advise you go hero all the time, just because villain side is so underpopulated. So uh, if you do pick a villain archetype, make sure that you go back and you make yourself go to the hero side. Otherwise, you'll be having a hard time trying to get into content. And it's fixed somewhat, but not all of the content is like that, so just be careful. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I glossed right over the Flash. This is the Flash archetype. His power is fire for some reason. We all know Flash is a speedster, but they had to give him a power because his movement mode is separate from the actual power. You can make a pretty good speedster if you just use super speed, right? There's a lot of good super speed moves in the game. So it's whatever power you actually want. You can pick an archetype and then change the power after, in case you just want the costume, right, or in the fighting style. Uh, but his power is fire. He uses super speed and brawling moves. You can change all this afterwards, guys. Uh, if you just want a pure speedster, just pick super speed. There's a lot of good moves in there. Super speed is kind of a meta power, movement mode power right now, so keep that in mind. Here we have Wonder Woman, which has mental powers for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Excuse me one moment, guys. I'm so sorry. Alright, guys, I'm back. Here we have Wonder Woman archetype. She has mental powers for some reason. There weren't that many powers when the game came out, so they kind of had to very like cherry pick, right? They had to make do with what they had. So she doesn't have mental powers, but when you pick the archetype, you'll have mental powers. The side row is a controller. Uh, while we're at it, the fire side row is a tank. If you see, it says defense there. Very old term, is outdated. They meant to put tank in there. I don't know why it says defense still. I might have to message somebody about that actually. We'll see. I can't be bothered to, right? But so there you have Wonder Woman. There's some iconic powers that you can get. So you can get the lasso. It's not tied to any power set in particular, guys. So don't feel like you have to be mental to have Wonder Woman's power set. You definitely do not. But that is the archetype. Here we have Deathstroke. He's gadgets. He's an acrobat. He uses one-handed weapon style. Very straightforward. We have the Bane archetype. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look. A lot of the starting classes don't look good. Uses gadgets as well. If you're making a Bane style character, you can get his Neo Venom in the game. It's not tied to any power set in particular, so pick whatever you want, guys. If you're one of those guys that have like a real big theme in mind, do a little bit of research. You can definitely ask me as well, because I would probably know. But you don't have to be gadgets to be a Bane style character. And here we have Cersei. For those who don't know, she's like a goddess in the Wonder Woman mythos slash Greek, Roman. One of those two mythos, but this is the DC version of Cersei. She uses sorcery. She uses hand blasters for the fighting style. Pretty straightforward. Magic is not bad in this game. A lot of the powers, a lot of their weaknesses these days are covered up with artifacts, so most of the powers are pretty good. You'll feel the pain more when you're leveling up and you don't have things to help boost your power. So if you want like good powers right off the bat, sorcery is not bad at all. The side row is a healer, by the way, guys. Sorry about that. You have Beast Boy here. He uses nature powers. When the game first came out, guys, the powers were split into two different trees, right? So nature had a flora and fauna skill set. Yes, yes, we will get to that. Thank you so much, Vital, Vital. Not sure how to pronounce your name, but thank you so much. Yes, I just said I would talk about it a little bit, right? Because this game deserves a little more love and deserves a little more hate. Sometimes, right? I get pretty salty, but I also do come back to play this game a lot. And there's a lot the game doesn't tell you. They flat out the game doesn't tell you a lot. So I thought I would explain it a little bit for people who are interested in playing the game. We will talk about some of the flaws. We will talk about some of the positives. Definitely, this game is more enjoyable when you're in a group with your friends and you're in a voice chat and you're talking to people. Um, the community is pretty toxic, but it also could be pretty good if you find the right people to play with. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that talk about it. Well, there's a couple. There's a couple big names out there that talk about the game. Um, it doesn't hurt to ask people or look up things for help, right, guys? So I thought we would talk about it a little bit. This is Beast Boy. This is the architect, guys. He uses nature. The game when the game first came out, it was split into two trees. So he had flora and fauna. You would use the fauna part, which was more shape shifting. They kind of homogenized everything, so it's kind of all just a power tree now. But if you pick the Beast Boy, you will be going in and out of like animal forms and things like that. I don't know if nature's in a good shape these days, but it probably is. I haven't used a nature tune in quite a while. Just be aware the shape shifting is not what it used to be, and they're more for like supercharged and things like that. And I'm not sure. I would have to talk to someone who uses nature a lot. Side row is a healer, by the way, guys. Healing and tanking is good, of course, guys, if you want to get into content. But you do have to do the healing and tanking role, right? You can't just pick it and then not do anything. So keep that in mind, guys, if you want to be a support role. They get into content a little bit easier than damage dealers, generally speaking, for most MMOs. And we have Mr. Freeze here. And Mr. Freeze is ice powered. He uses a rifle for his combat style. I love the rifle in this game. He uses acrobats. Ice is actually really strong, and people are starting to notice that now. Uh, but there's a lot of wind up time. You throw a lot of like frost blast and things like that. Ice is pretty good. Ice was the tank when the game came out, right? It was like the premier tank, and it's still a pretty good tank. Uh, Ice is cool. I like ice. I would have to build one up though. And you have Green Arrow, guys. This is just basic. You use a bow and use gadgets and acrobats. Oh, by the way, of course, it's a tank. Right, Ice is a tank. Um, I have Green Arrow here, guys. He uses gadgets. We'll talk about the powers once we end this like small little section here. Uh, when the game came out, there wasn't that many powers, so a lot of them share the same power set. But he uses a bow and acrobats. Very Green Arrow. Very simple to use. The bow is nice in the game. He's a controller. Right, here we have Steel. His power is Ice. He uses two-handed. He flies. Right, his movement one is flight. As you can tell, he's based off of Steel, who is himself based off of Superman, except he has a power suit. So they made him as close to Superman as possible in the game. That's Ice. So you can be pretty tanky when you pick this character. We have Martian Manhunter here. Martian Manhunter is a cool character, and Mental's pretty good in this game too, by the way, guys. But he uses brawling and flight. He has mental powers. His side row is a controller. And here we have Green Lantern. Okay, so the first DLC for this game was Heartlight, and this is the first DLC power. And Heartlight, basically, if you've seen Green Lantern and you know about Heroes, Green Lantern uses a power ring. It's green. It shoots light beams. It makes Heartlight constructs, and by that I mean it makes like holograms, right? I think that would be the best way to describe it to people who are not familiar with the Heartlight construct concept, right? Like he can make like green light holograms, but they actually take up physical space, right? So he can make like a hologram green light person, and then that person can punch you. Right, so he makes things like that, and that's what Green Lantern's about. He's a controller role. Heartlight is very fun. It's a very fun power class. I don't have a lot of endgame characters, right? So endgame terms, I wouldn't be able to direct you, right? But if you're a Green Lantern fan, go Green Lantern. Fun power. And you have the light powers. I forgot to say that the power itself is called light. right? It's not gonna say Green Lantern, but it's called Light. And if you're a hero, you're a Green Lantern, and if you're a villain, you're a Yellow Lantern. So you'll have the yellow ring, guys. And it's based off of Sinestro Corps, obviously. The constructs do look a little different. So this would probably be the only time I would advise to go a villain if you like the constructs better. There's like a lot more skulls in there and things like that. Uh, I would still say pick hero regardless, but if you're a hardcore Green Lantern dude and you want to pick Sinestro Corps, go for it. And like the other light users, he's also a controller. And we have Black Lightning here. He uses electricity, guys. Electricity is a DLC power, so unless you're subscribed or unless you've purchased the power set, you cannot go light or you can't go electricity. So keep that in mind as well. Um, Also, if you buy electricity and you have a character already made, you're gonna have to buy a power respec token as well. So just be aware that you might, if you're just starting out, you might want to buy the power before you make the character, because then you'd have to invest more money. So just be careful about that, guys. But you have Black Lightning here. He's electricity, of course. Pretty straightforward. He uses electricity like lightning storms and things like that to damage people. He can fly. He uses hand blasts as his combat style. Electricity is very good in raids where there's like a lot of ads around. It does a lot of damage to big mobs, big groups of enemies. I think it suffers a little bit in a single target, but you can make up for that with other moves. Um, it is a good power set. It's very fun. The graphics on it look great. That's one of the perks of it being like a newer power. It's not like the newest, but the newer powers generally look better. And if you like lightning and electricity, you like static shock, this is the power to pick. I love static shock, by the way. One of my favorite heroes of color. He's probably like the one I like the most. I love static shock. Well, he's called Static, right? But the static shock cartoon got him popular. So Static is one of my favorite characters. With that said, Black Lightning is a good archetype. If you want electricity, you can change the costume later. Also, electricity is healer role, guys, for those of you that want to be a healer support class. And I believe electricity is one of the better healers. I could be wrong. I haven't been a healer for a while. And you have Livewire. She got popular from the Superman cartoon, right? The animated series. I think that's where she was created. Oh, Static Shock was fun. I love the comic too. The comic, I had a lot of older comics before I did this big move, and when I moved, I kind of lost them in the shuffle, right? But I had a lot of static comic books, and they were fun to read, and I did like the art, and I thought he was interesting, and yeah. So we have Livewire, guys, and Livewire came from the Superman cartoon, if I remember right, and she had an awesome voice actress. I think it was the girl that played Tank Girl in the old movies. Don't remember her name off the bat. Sorry, lady who played Livewire. Please forgive me. Yeah, yeah, a lot of the powers are pretty good DPS guys, right? So if you're worried about just being a damage dealer, don't take this into account, right? You'll be more worried about the side role if you want to be a side role, if you want to be some kind of support class. But a lot of the powers, you don't have to worry about them doing a lot of damage, or like, or, being lacking in damage. There's a lot of options out there, guys. There's a lot of loadouts. There's some metas going around too if you just want to be a scoreboard chaser, but a lot of the powers eventually do kind of shape up together for the most part. And we have Livewire. The healing is good. The healing is good, right? Yes, good. The healing is good. If you like Livewire, I think this costume is pretty cool to start out with. Even the male one, right? It looks pretty cool, so give it a shot. Here we have Geoforce. I gotta admit, I don't know much about Geoforce. He's a more of a classic character, I will want to say, but he uses Earth powers, and Earth powers are a DLC power. Also, you would have to buy the power if you're not subscribing, so just keep that in mind, guys. Earth is a tank, and it's a pretty good tank. It uses a pet, and it also uses crystal shields, guys. The damage is pretty straightforward. The loadout for this is pretty straightforward. Earth is a pretty decent power. You have to keep in mind though, with a lot of your tanking skills, you will get like some shards all over your body. So if you don't like having graphics over your character's costume, you might want to think about that for a little bit. You can also tank with a pet. But you're gonna have to pay attention to that pet, right? You gotta have to make sure it stays alive, and then keep that pet out. But the damage is good. The graphics, you won't be seeing too much of them, honestly. There's a lot of like ground pounders, we call them out there, right? Where you just kind of mash one button. The damage is very straightforward. The damage is very straightforward, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Uh, Earth is a decent power, I want to say. And I would give this a try if you want to go tanking. And you have Terra. Terra got real popular in the Teen Titans cartoon, from what I remember. But she's an old school character as well. This is just a villainous version of the Earth archetype. So straightforward. You use brawling, uh, flight for movement, and as you can see, I just noticed that the newer classes, the role actually says tank, right? I think they need to go back and fix this because a lot of people don't understand what defense is, right? They just think they're going to be defensive, but the side role is tank. A lot of the powers that are actually tank in year one will say defense, but they are tank. So it's pretty straightforward, right? And there you have it, guys. It's a fun class. If you're more of like a pet person, I think each power set has like at least one class that uses a pet. So also take that into account. And we have Captain Atom. Excuse me, guys. He uses quantum powers. Quantum is another DLC power set. I think we're in the point now where most of these powers are going to be DLC powers. Uh, so he's using quantum. Quantum side as a controller. Quantum is a great controller, guys. Quantum is a great controller. Um, For those of you who know who Captain Atom is, he's a soldier. His body's made out of this dilosteel, I believe it's called, and inside he's just housing all kinds of like atomic energy. They chose Captain Atom just because the way his energy looked was blue, and atomic powers are very blue. So there you have it, guys. That's what you would be. We can go and look at the little graphics later on, but you would be controller. Uh, like I said, controller is the controlling class for quantum is great. The powers do a lot of there's like a lot of lockdowns and lockups and stuff like that. So quantum is great for controlling. Damage wise, I'm not so sure. I don't have a DPS that's quantum. Um, but the powers look really good if you want to have good visuals. So you have Captain Atom. Then you have Major Force, guys. He's also quantum, but he should be atomic. I think his power should be atomic, but atomic wasn't available at the time. But this is Captain Atom. He's basically the villainous version of. I mean, Major Force is the villainous version of Captain Atom, guys, right? So it's the same thing. He uses atomic, flight, things like that. Atomic's great if you want to like main a controller. It's pretty good. I mean, quantum. I'm so sorry. Uh, and here we have Eclipso, guys. Celestial powers. Celestial, they use divine powers. It's for those of you that like DC, it's basically the powers of the presence, right? So it's like the Spectre's powers, Eclipso's powers. It's divine powers of light and dark. The powers look really good. They combo into one another. The side row is a healer. They do a lot of damage, but keep in mind that in order to keep that damage up, you're gonna have to be doing combos, and you can get knocked out of those combos pretty easily. So if you just want to like fire off skills, this is not a power set for you. I wouldn't say it's the most advanced, but it's a little more advanced because you have to keep your combos going. Uh, Keep that in mind, guys. With that said, it looks great and it does good damage, and it's a healer side roll, and the healing is fantastic on it. There are some flaws with it, but you can make it work, guys, and it's pretty good. And we have the Spectre. This is the hero version of Celestial. Like I said, Celestial is a great power. The combat is hand blasters. You could change the combat style at any point, guys, so don't worry about the combat and things like that. The movement mode you have to pay for if you want to change it, so that is something you should keep in mind. I believe the meta movement mode right now is super speed for a lot of the endgame players, and I will look up videos to see why it is a little overpowered. So also keep that if you're a pure cosplayer and you want to fly around, that is entirely up to you. That is your right. And like I said, it's a healer side roll. Celestial is a great power. And we have the Atrocitus archetype. He is a Red Lantern. They call it Rage in here. He uses a red power ring. He is a super tank. What they do basically is they're like a premier like close range combat kind of character. He uses a few heart-like constructs, a lot of like red ring kind of rage powers. They use plasma for DOTs and plasma burns. Their tanking is great. Their side row is a tank. Their tanking is great. And I believe they're the GOAT when it comes to close range combat for the most part. Keep in mind that he's mostly close range. A lot of the powers are going to be lacking when you're trying to do mid range or long range combat. He has they have insanely good supercharge. They are one of the top tier classes, guys. Keep in mind you have to be close range most of the time, and you could get knocked out of a few of your combos. He has a devastating finisher, or I believe it's called finisher in this game. It's a when you get below 25%, a lot of people have an execute. I think it's called the execute. His is pretty devastating. It is a good power all around. Just keep in mind that he has the tank side row, and if you don't like tanking, don't go him. If you just focus on DPS, guys, none of this stuff matters, but just always keep that in mind, right, if you're trying to do a side roll. Tanks get into content the fastest, by the way. And we have Guy Gardner. He's also Rage. It's just the hero version of Atrocity, so we won't go over it too much. Rage. What happened to my... Okay, there we go. So he's the hero version. He uses Rage, Brawling, Flight, yada yada yada. Rage is a good power, guys. Think about it. Here we have Detonator. So, like I said, guys, the section we're in, all these powers are going to be DLC powers or subscription powers. You have to subscribe for the month in order to get access to all the powers. If you want to own them forever, you have to buy the power pack. Keep that in mind, guys. Here we have Detonator. I don't know much about Detonator, and probably nothing, but he is munitions, and munitions basically what it is you use munitions. So you use guns, you use ordnance, explosives, things like that as your power set. It is great. This is an extremely damaging power. It's easy to use. A lot of the powers just channel into one another, so you can just fire off power after power. It does a lot of damage, guys. It does a lot of damage. The main problem is it was a controller side row, and I think controllers kind of get the shaft in this game. But if you just want to be a damage dealer, munitions is probably one of the top powers. It is great. The weapons look cool. The power looks fun. If you want to be like a Punisher kind of character, or like Cable, or anybody that just uses straight up guns, this is the power set to pick, and it hits extremely hard. So I would... munitions is one of my favorite powers. Unfortunately, the big three that I use don't have munitions, but I champion it. It's great. And we have Sergeant Rock. It's just the hero version of munitions. Like I said, munitions is a great power set. You remember you have to buy it, guys, and that's up to you. I would highly advise it if you just love guns. If you like Rambo, Punisher, things like that, Terminator, use munitions. Here we have Firestorm, guys. He is Atomic. Atomic is a very good tank. I main Atomic as a battle tank, and it's a pretty good tank. There are a couple of downfalls with it. You have to keep a combo going to keep an aura up. And I believe that's the same in damage roll as well. You have to get some kind of like aura up. It's a slightly more advanced power set, guys. If you don't like having to do continuous combos and potentially get knocked out of them, this might not be a class for you. With that said, it looks awesome. The aura you get is pretty good. If you're a fan of Firestorm, of course, I would say try it out. The ease of use is not too high, though. You would have to get used to actually doing combos and then get to the end game and see how you feel when you're fighting enemies. If you don't want to bother with all that, I would say not to use it. And that's about all there is. It's a tank. It's a tank side roll, guys. There's a lot of self-healing involved. It's pretty good if you have the time to learn it. Again, this is my main character's power, and I think it's pretty good. And you have Neutron. This is just the villainous version of Firestorm. I wouldn't worry too much about it, guys. Like I said, Atomic is good. It's slightly more advanced. Just be careful with that. If you don't like getting knocked out of combos easily, I would pick a different power set. And that's all there is to it. And what am I looking at? Oh, Queen Mira. So we have the Queen Mira archetype here, and she uses water powers, or he uses water powers. Water is probably one of the best healers in the game, from what I understand. I don't have a main water healer tin, but I think they're the go-to option for elite content, I believe. They have very good heals over time. The heal over time and the area of effect on it is massive. They have shields for upon shields for days, right? You cast a lot of shields. Your damaging moves are water constructs for the most part. They hit hard, from what I remember. Water's a very good looking power set as well. So if you like Aquaman, you like Mirror, you like water, Kinesis and things like that. If you like Aqualad, this is definitely the power to pick. It heals great. I believe it does good damage as well. And it's very nice to look at. It's a beautiful looking power set. So I would give it a shot if you like healing and water, things like that. And we have Ocean Master, which is just the villainous version of Mira, right? So you would just be the villain version of water. Like I said, water looks great, it heals great, it has good shields. I would definitely go water if you're a fan of it. And that's what we have for the archetypes, guys. And I think we can go into the actual custom part. When you do custom, you could pick villain or hero. You can also, if you pick an archetype, come back into this and pick villain or hero. So keep that in mind. I highly suggest you go hero, guys. The villain side on most of the platforms are pretty underpopulated, and you can still play with villains as well. And up to a point, the villains do have their own content, but after a while, they kind of just brought it together because there's a very low population on the villain side. I would still advise you go hero. There are a few alerts that have exclusive styles that you might want to pick up that are hard to get. Right? You would have to get certain items, and the only way to get them would be one is to know about the style in itself because you probably would never see it otherwise, and then two, be a villain and collect those items. Uh, there's like one item on the villain side that I desperately want, and I got it on the PlayStation side, but on the villain side, it's the Lex Luthor eyepiece. Getting into that alert is a nightmare. I can never get into it, and I don't have a villain on this side on this server. So getting the collections, like I said, is a lot of work, and I just subscribe to never getting it. But it's one of my favorite eyepieces I can't get in this game. And we have the personality types. Basically, the personality type is just the way you stand, and it governs like some of your emotes. Unfortunately, this game didn't capitalize on the emote thing, right? They could have been selling emote packs and dance moves. I would have tried to do that. But that's what your personality type is. It basically determines just your stance overall, and then some of your, like the dance emote and things like that. It's not very intuitive. It doesn't make a huge difference unless you're a stickler for, like you have a certain character in mind. But we'll take a look at it. So this is the Batman stance. This is serious. Unfortunately, they don't stand like that the whole time, but this is the serious stance. If I could get it to work. That's the flirty stance. We'll just move on. You have powerful. I think this is how powerful people stand, and this is like basically Superman's stance in the game. You can't preview any of the emotes, so I can't show you them. And you have comical. A lot of people who make Joker have this stance. And you have primal. Right, Bane, Beast Boy, a lot of characters like that, where they're hunched over, they have that kind of power set. I mean, they have that kind of stance. We will go serious from now. Ben? Ben 10? We didn't do anything to him. We didn't do anything to him. We're just like showing things off. But how are you doing, Alex? I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. We're just going over the power sets and the general first like 10 minutes of the game. No. Continue, sir. Continue. But we're talking about the power sets, right? When you start the game out, you can pick a mentor. This is basically the leveling process. From 1 to 30, you will do missions. Very cool. Very cool. I support your support. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. But guys, when you're first starting out the game, you can pick a mentor. Most people will pick tech, right? That's Batman. When you're leveling up and you're a hero and a villain, you'll have a mentor for your missions, right? So that's basically level 1 to 30. We will do Batman. We will do that later. We will talk about this. This doesn't matter too much, right? It mattered more when you first got the game and they were going heavy on the mentors, right? We will go to Batman. We will. But magic for heroes, oh, it says on the right hand side, is Wonder Woman. Basically, when you're assigned a mission, the mentor will come on and they'll talk to you. Oh, you know what's funny? I do like Superman's missions because if you pick a rifle, you can get the grenade launcher. And I didn't know that until like a few years after, and then I needed that grenade launcher for my my rifle users. So I did make a Superman mentored character to get it. That is also part of the mentor. I think they did away with that. But the missions are slightly more skewed to whatever mentor you have, right? So magic heroes will have magic-based missions. Meta people that have like Superman-based missions, like in Metropolis dealing with Lex Luthor and things like that. Tech, you'll be in Gotham. Batman is going to be talking to you. You're going to do a lot of missions that deal with Penguin, the Joker, Mr. Freeze. Yeah, yeah, a lot of them. I think this game was rushed towards the end, right, guys? If I remember right, so they kind of had to just put something out there. That's not an excuse though, right? Because I would have liked to see a third city at least, right? Because we still haven't gotten a new city yet all these years. But eventually, there when you get to go different places for DLCs, which is still Metropolis and Gotham a lot of the times, which it is what it is, guys. Uh, so magic, you'll get Wonder Woman missions. You'll be fighting like Cersei and doing magical based things, Doctor Fate kind of stuff. Meta, you like I said, you'll be working with Superman. You would listen to him talk to you. Tech is Batman, guys. If you like Gotham, it's always night in Gotham. It's never daytime. If you want to just be depressed, you go Batman, right? And that's what we're gonna do. And here we can get like a small little snippet of like the way the powers look. Yeah, Dark Metal looks cool. The a lot of the newer DLCs they do have good ambience. I will give them that, right? They do have pretty good ambience. And we have nature, guys. We're gonna take a look at just like the minor little graphics. We can't see all the powers, right? They don't give us like a preview. So this is the way nature. This is the way nature. Nature. We'll go back one. Okay, there you go. So this is the way nature looks. Basically, you can see you throw vines and use poison, things like that. For the most part, guys, right? Pretty basic. And you have sorcery there. I'll take another look at it. There you go. You have sorcery there. We'll see, guys. We will see. I do have a couple characters in mind that I can use for the leveling up process. And I thought we would make one from Fresh. Quantum and Ice are very cool. I love the way Quantum looks. Ice is very strong, right? People are just figuring this out now. The Ice is pretty top tier when it comes to damage. But Ice is very strong. I'm having a little bit of problems when I scroll to the next power, so we'll just go through it. Ice, that's how Ice looks, guys. Keep in mind, guys, that this game is very old. It's like 11, I want to say almost 11 years old, right? Maybe about 11 or 12. I don't remember when it came out. It came out a while ago. A lot of the new powers do look better. Yeah, Ice is one of the top tier tanks. And guys, tanks are great if you want to get into content. Just make sure if you go tank, please go tank, right? Don't tank and then try to be a damage dealer. You're just gonna die, and you're not. It's not gonna be a good look for you guys, right? Yeah, 11 years. It's been a long time, right? I know this game is due for a graphical update. I think they're working on it. I'm interested in seeing how it looks. I don't imagine it's gonna be too much of a big difference, but every little bit helps. This is fire, guys. Fire tanks, they heal themselves. From what I understand, you need a lot of skill points for a fire tank. So keep that in mind. You'll have to be pretty dedicated for fire. Uh, Fire burst hits like a truck, guys, if you're just damage dealing. And Mazda hits pretty hard. Fire is a good damage dealer. And we have gadgets. You can't really see much to, to it. But gadgets is cool. Gadgets is okay. And Heartlight. They're not going to show you any constructs. I really wish they would add in like a small like little video of you casting the powers. Yeah. I do love controllers, right? Like, all right, I'll tell you guys this. When this game was first coming out, right, about 11 years ago, I saw the trailers, right? And I was like, "Oh my God, I got to play this game." And I watched YouTube videos and I watched YouTube videos and I watched their uh their little talks about it. Yeah, I do wish you could do that. I wish every role. I wish like you could pick what side role you wanted to be, right? But I remember just looking at it and in my mind I was making a character and I was like he's gonna be Punisher. He was gonna be like Batman with a gun, right? So I was like, oh, he's gonna be gadgets. He's gonna have a rifle, and I'm gonna do all this cool stuff. And so day one I was gadgets when I first made my character. I had a rifle. I looked a little bit more like Punisher or the comedian. My character. I remember his name perfectly. It was called. He was called Black Ash. His name was Black Ash, and I leveled him up. We had the controller role, and then I ended up mastering it right. And then slowly they gave controllers to Shaft. It's very hard to control these days, right? You need to do very specific things, and I think the controller role is not too fun if you're doing what the people ask you to do, which is basically just be a battery, and you're not really controlling, right? Like some powers do have good built-in control moves, and that's very cool. Quantum is a great controller. Quantum is a great controller. Mento's a great controller. Gadgets basically you throw like sleep darts and things like that. Yeah, yeah, and you have to communicate with the people you're running with. A lot of the times they want you to either be like a buff controller or like a power controller, and if you're joining pugs, that's a whole nother deal, right? But that's the downfalls of an MMO is just joining random people, and sometimes they want different things than what you're used to running. Keep that in mind, guys. I would suggest if you're like first starting out to go either tank or healer. Uh, Hard to go wrong there. They're very straightforward. Controllers, you would have to you'd have to give a little more thought to what you actually want to be. If you just want to be a damage dealer, that's very good still. Like all the powers are good for damage dealing, so don't worry about it too much. Let's take a look at light. I think we already did, right? He just put his ring up in the air. Electricity, it looks great. Electricity is very cool. For Earth, like I said, you'll be getting these growths all over your body. So if you're not a fan of that, uh, I wouldn't pick Earth. But Earth is still a very good power. And there you have Quantum, guys. Unfortunately, this is the most I could show for the power sets because they don't have any kind of like movie viewer or like a clip like viewer for your power sets. There you have Celestial, and you have Rage. It didn't show anything. I wish it showed a few of the powers, but there's not much you can do about that. They use Plasma and they use some constructs, guys. Very good power set. Just keep in mind it's mostly melee based. Top tier Alex, thank you so much for the follow. I do appreciate it. We're trying to get to 10 followers, guys. Almost there. Uh, we're doing baby steps, right? Because I would like this to be a thing later down the line, but we're not there yet. Thank you so much for the follow. I do appreciate it. Um, like I said, Rage is good. Munitions is fantastic. I love almost the way all the powers look at munitions. When I first bought this power, guys, when I first bought this power, I told myself I wasn't switching to anything else. Eventually, my league needed different roles, and then I had to do some healing and I had to do some tanking. And I think it's easier to get into content like that. So we ended up switching from munitions, unfortunately. But it is one of my favorite powers. And I would recommend it to anybody that wants to be a damage dealer or anybody that's a fan of like 80s action heroes, Punish, like Rambo, right, and things like that. John Matrix, was a Commando, things like that. If you love old school run and gun games, You can walk around while you're shooting your guns off. Very great power. Highly recommend it. I would just be a damage dealer the whole time. That's what I would do if I was munitions. You have atomic. They didn't really show too much to it, but you have an aura that you use to tank into damage with, and you have to keep a combo going. Slightly more advanced, I would advise against it if you're newer and you don't want to get knocked out of your combo. And we have water. They didn't show anything on water, guys, but water is a great healer. Excuse me, I got some heartburn. But water is a great healer. And yeah, you use some water constructs. You use a lot of like soothing water moves, right? Like you have a pool that heals people over time, and there's jellyfish rising up out the pool. It looks great. It looks great, guys. And we have the powers there. And we'll pick something just to move forward, right? We'll just do this. Because I have a couple characters in mind, and if we don't like that, we can make a fresh one. And we can just run through it. And we'll talk about the movement modes now. So flight, you fly. There's not much to that, right? You fly. Skimming is something they had tried out a few years back. So basically what skimming is, it's a reskin of flight. And you fly, but you fly in these little discs. I think I have to let this power load up and then do this one. You fly in those little discs on your feet. Basically, it is just flying, but it's like a reskin of flying. So you do all the flying moves there. Don't worry about that. I think it wasn't too popular, and they decided not to go forward with the movement mode skins, which I think they dropped the ball with skimming because it doesn't look that good, right? They could have picked a more interesting kind of movement mode, but that's up to them. You have acrobats, guys. That's if you're Batman, if you're like Spider-Man and things like that, and you want to like flip around the arena, if you want to if you want to glide, if you want to like shoot a grapple gun up the wall. This is the power to pick, the movement power. And you have super speed if you want to move fast like the Flash. Super speed, however, guys, I will tell you this: it is the meta movement mode. There's a lot of very damaging DPS powers in here, and if you're trying to min-max and you're trying to do that extra bit of damage, most people that are very high-end DPSers are super speed. And I would YouTube why, because I'm not like a spreadsheet kind of dude, but there are a couple moves in here that are pretty broken and they have not been fixed for years. So if you're a fan of the Flash, go forward with it. If you want to be the best damage dealer ever and you want that extra bit of damage, go for it. If you don't care about that, guys, it doesn't matter too much in the long run. There's workarounds for it. We'll just do acrobats for now, and we'll look at the weapon styles. Hand blast is very straightforward. You use energy pulses that come out your hand. We'll take a look at it real quick. You shoot energy beams and things like that. There's combos in the game, so you would move into combos and pulse beams and things like that. The weapons don't matter too much. They're more like flavor these days, so it's entirely up to you. We have one-handed. One-handed, also keep in mind, guys, that you won't be using an axe forever. One-handed means one-handed style. So you can have a knife, you can have a katana, you can have whatever style they put for one-handed. You're not just going to be using an axe. Keep that in mind, guys. And one-handed straightforward, you use a one-handed weapon. Staff, I wonder what this is. Use a staff, guys. Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. All the melee weapons do have ranged options to them, so you can hold the range button and do a ranged attack. So don't worry too much about that as well, guys. Dual wield, you dual wield weapons. The styles are entirely up to you to find. There's not just swords, there's a bunch of other things in the game. You have two-handed, use two-handed weapons. Straightforward. Most of them are pretty fun. Martial arts, you can also go barehanded in martial arts if you just want to use your fists like Batman or like Iron Fist, right? If you're like a martial artist kind of dude. So this is what you would go. You throw like shurikens and things like that as well for your ranged attacks. It's a fun class. I mean, it's a fun class. It's a fun weapon to use. And we have dual pistols, one of my favorite things in the game. You use dual pistols, guys. You have two guns. That's about it. You do gun kata a little bit. For those of you that like, what was that gun kata movie that came out a while back? Sure do wish I knew the name of it, but you do gun fu, guys, right? You do the gun fu. Fun, very fun. Uh, you have a bow. If you like Green Arrow, if you like bows in general, bow's pretty good. The game has been out a long time, guys, so style-wise and things like that, you would have to find the style you like. Entirely up to you to find the style. You have brawling. Superman, Bane, right? Heavy hitters like that. They just have a brawling fighting style. You can fight barehanded. There's also a lot of like knuckles and katars in the game, right? But you can also, like I said, go barehanded. A lot of people just do this. Rifle. If you can't tell, I like guns and stuff like that, right? So I love the rifle. Close range, you can go into a flamethrower, you shoot grenades, you can drop a mortar on people. It's a very fun class to pick. I'm sorry, I'm going to say class a lot, but it's a very fun weapon to pick. And you have a shield. Okay, guys. Shield is a DLC weapon, and I'll be honest, it sucks. I don't like the shield. If you like Captain America, if you like having a shield-themed character in general, go for it. Since it's a DLC weapon, the combos that like use other weapons because there's like a weapon mastery system in the game. We'll go into that much later down the line. But the weapons it combos into don't hit that hard. I would say, since it's a DLC power, right, they couldn't make it OP. I mean, they could have if they wanted to, but I do not like it. You have a shield, guys. The combos look cool. You can't throw the shield if you're trying to be Captain America. I will pick something different. That's just me. We'll go rifle. Alright, we'll just go rifle. And here you have the appearance part. I have to stress that this game is old. So a lot of these textures you see are out of date. As you can see, my guy looks like he's made out of plastic right now. Right. A lot of the later styles that you get in the game, the late game styles, they look pretty cool. The textures are fixed, I promise you. They look good. But for now, leveling up, you have to make do with what you got. It's very bare bones, it's very basic. You have to work to get towards the end of the game to find styles you like. If you have certain themes going on, I would highly advise that maybe you look up a couple of YouTube videos and see what styles drop where. If you like, say you like utility belts and certain guns or a certain chest piece, I would look it up if I were you and then try to work towards that. But other than that, you basically have what you have here, and you slowly get pieces of gear through the leveling up process. And then other gear is like in other DLC sets and things like that. So you would have to be aware of what you're going for specifically to get it. Keep that in mind, guys. DLC is very bare bones. I mean, the character creator is very bare bones. Just try to remember that you will look better down the line if you want to work for it. And I think we'll look at we'll take the chest piece off, right? And we'll take the waist off, and we'll look at the skins real quick, and then we can look at the costume pieces. Right, so when you go to appearance, right, there's a couple options here. There's skin and hair, and skin basically, there's a bunch of skin options in this game. These are the retextured human skins. They look slightly better than the Year 1 skins. So you have Human 1, they're also, as you can see, they're like race-based, right? So Caucasian, African American, Asian American, it looks like. That's what it looks like they're based off of, right? The texture's good on them. And when you go down to these skins, you have glowing, which hurts my eyes. You have lava skin if you're making like kind of like a thing-based superhero, right? Things like that. You have the rock skin. You can change the colors on these guys, so keep that in mind as well. You have your plant man. You can see the texture doesn't look as good as the first three. You have crystalline skin, right? If you're doing like an Iceman or you're doing like a one of the Ben 10, there's a Ben 10 monster, right? I think he was called Big Chell, and he had kind of like a crystal looking skin. If you're doing something like that, right? If you want to glow like Dr. Manhattan, you pick glowing. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll give it this. The combat, like this game is old, guys, right? So you have to also take to the account. But the combat, when we came out, the combat was very satisfying. Uh, it's not tab target, so it's like action-based combat. So if you like action-based combat, and most of the powers do look good, right? And you have to remember that you're in the DC universe as well, right? If you want to be a superhero and things like that, this was the game to get. I remember getting it just based off of being able to make a superhero, period. Right. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's a lot later on down the line, combat wise as well. So like most MMOs, the game ends when you're done leveling up, right? The game begins when you're leveling up. So you have to finish leveling up. You'll get into the end game, and you'll see like what everything is really all about. Uh, like I said, the graphics are a little dated, right? A lot of things look like plastic. You can work around that with imagination, right? If you have a concept in mind and you have things you want to get, uh, you can use pieces of costumes and color them just right, and you can look pretty close to what you're trying to look like. Uh, it does take some imagination. If you're a cosplayer, you can do that as well. You can look like Batman and Superman and things like that, no problem. You just have to know what you're going for. But here's the plant guy. You can make Swamp Thing, you can make Poison Ivy if you want things like that. You can also use these plants and recolor your skin and make it look like you're real veiny and vascular. Yes, and this is the only DC game you get to play, guys, where you're in the DC universe and you're a superhero. Right, you're fighting alongside Batman and Superman. They just canceled the Marvel MMO not too long ago, so we're not going to see another superhero MMO for quite a while. Unless you're on PC and then you have Champions Online and things like that. But if you're a console player, guys, and you're itching to be a superhero or a supervillain, this is what you got, and it is free to play, right? It's worth a check if you just want to try it out. But yeah, you can do some things with this plant style, guys. You have the crystalline skin. These things are pretty straightforward, right? Chrome, robot, cyborg, the undead skin. You have a mummy skin. I've seen someone make a pretty good Moon Knight from the Marvel series using this skin. You have demonic skin. Reptile. Unfortunately, you guys, if you're new, you just missed the spring seasonal, and there was a lot of ears that you could add to your character. So if you're making an animal themed character, you kind of missed out on that. Uh, you have to wait till next year. But there are some animal skins. They don't look good. But if you want some animal skins, here they are. There's the leopard, there's the tiger, there's the lion. If you have to be one of these animal, like if you want to be like cheetah or something like that, this is what you would do, right? You would pick one of these animal skins, and you would make it work. Unfortunately, they don't have snouts or anything like that because they're the character models and the stuff they wanted to mesh over would look kind of weird. So they have like very humanish faces, like facial features. So you have to be okay with that. Barbarian, right? If you want to make a Kratos or things like that, old school Kratos, there you go. You have your tattooed bad boy look. The angry face. Unfortunately, you can't zoom in on character create, but he looks mad. He has mad face, right? You have the cheerful face. He's smiling. Wise is just old. You fool's young. Who would have thought? When I started out, I had the angry face, right? And then I moved on since the textures was just that much better. We went human. And then the hair, we'll skip most of this hair, guys, because most of the hair is like the same hair repeated like twice, just with a beard and a mustache. But you can be bald, you can have afro. As you can see, there's the afro with the beard and then the goatee, right? And then the sideburns. So it's basically the same hair repeated over and over again. Yeah, definitely. And there's things you can do, guys, right? You can skip ahead. If you're new to the game, I would advise just taking your time, right? Especially if you're not playing with anybody and you just want to figure the game out. Take your time, play the game. Try to enjoy it. Try to enjoy it. Uh, Easy. Easy, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it, guys. We're trying to get to 10 followers. We're taking baby steps, guys. I do appreciate the follow. Um, If you guys want to see my main streams, they're at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I just had some time to kill, right? So we're gonna do uh, tonight is Diablo 2. We're gonna do Diablo 2 at 8 p.m. Daytime streams, they're up for debate. Basically, what up for debate means, guys, is that you can suggest games to me for the daytime streams. They're at 12 p.m. Eastern time. All you have to do basically is follow me and then suggest a game. I am on Xbox, by the way, guys. So if you want to see a certain game in particular, just keep that in mind. And just to suggest a game, and then we can figure out if it's worth playing or if it's fun or things like that. And keep in mind, it is free to play, guys. You can definitely just keep trying the game out. Don't feel pressured to subscribe and things like that. I know a lot of games give you like all these like flashing images that you might want to get, to get you to subscribe and buy this and that. Just take your time with it, guys, and see if you enjoy it. And like I said, the hairstyles are pretty straightforward, right? We're not going to sit here and talk about the lore of the hairstyles. Uh, Cornrows, right? Cornrows with a beard, goatee, dreadlocks, things like that. Flat top. There are DLC hairstyles. Yeah, you unlock more styles when you the more you level up, guys, you unlock styles. You can look however you want. The armor doesn't dictate what you look like. The armor just dictates what styles you have, and you can change the styles later on or on the fly. So keep that in mind as well. You're not bound to this style forever. You can change it whenever you want. You can change the colors as well. I had a person in my league that was in the league for about 4 years, and then he realized that you could change the colors on the items. You can change the colors whenever you want, guys. Keep that in mind as well. You're not locked down to colors or anything like that. You can change your skin as long as you buy the skins. You can change everything, guys. So keep that in mind. You're not locked down into one thing forever and ever. And like I said, pretty straightforward. Metalhead. You got a spiky metal mohawk. Looks painful. And then you have the regular mohawks. It's everything with a beard, goatee, mustache, pompadour, right? Pomp and goatee. Yada yada yada. Afro sideburns. There's a fair amount of hairstyles in the game. I'll give them that. I call this the Black Adam. Right, this is like the Black Adam hairstyle. So there's a lot of options. I'm kind of noticing some things are a little off here, but you won't be seeing your character this close a lot of the time either, guys. So don't worry about it too much. And you have your spiky hair. Surprisingly enough, there are a lot of like anime cosplayers in the game. Right, if you go to the central hub and you just walk around a little bit, you'll see like a lot of like Gokus and Brawlies and Freezes. There's actually a lot you can do when you make a character. You just gotta think about it a little bit. So if you need some inspiration, just walk around and see how other people are dressed, right? And you can like glean tactics and tricks that they use, right? Certain layering aspects and things like that. And the hairstyle is pretty straightforward. I think we'll just do a side part for now. And that is, I think, all there is really to it. We can do a basic costume. Usually, if I'm making like a Batman hero, right, we would do something real quick. We don't take all this time to look at it. Uh, Maybe we should actually for the people that are new. We'll just do a quick rundown. So you have your arcane here. Generally, if you got a sorcery user or a magic user, arcane is pretty good. If you color it just right, the little lines you see there, the yellow ones do light up. You have your battle harness here. If you're making a He-Man style character or something like that, barbarian, easy option. Battle mage, straightforward. You have chainmail. You're a wizard, right? You're a magic user, battle mage. Biker, straightforward. You got a leather jacket, pretty straightforward. Business suit, business suit. Chevron slimline. This is what I use a lot when I'm making a character, and we'll look at it once we're done here. Contemporary tech. I think this would be some kind of like power suit, like the underneath parts of it. You have electric, so it's just like basically electric theme, right? You have like some electric markings on it. Flames, the same thing, right? Flex suit. I think I've seen this on Mr. Freeze. It's a flex suit, guys. Right, very very basic, straightforward stuff. We'll just like take a quick look. It's basically just tights with different designs on them. That's all it is, guys. For the most part. right? New Genesis. If you're a fan of Fourth World and Jack Kirby, things like that, New Genesis is basically what a lot of the people from Fourth World use. And there you have it, guys. Right? None if you don't want to have any clothes. Paramilitary. Right? You have your vest. You have your pouches. You have all your stuff. Pyramid. Like I said, very very basic, straightforward kind of things. Right? All up to you on what you want to start out with. Use this a lot for Deathstroke characters. It's just scaly textured combat suit. Right, and you would pick what you want. Basically, just pick whatever you want. You could color code it later on down the line. Right, you get a basic trench coat. It's not the best looking, but it's manageable, guys. And it's basically the same for the chest and the back and things like that. You can pick an emblem. What we will do is we'll just do like a basic, like say you want to make like Batman, right, or like Superman or something like that. What I would do is I would pick the Chevron Slimline, and then for the legs I would pick elaborate Slimline, and then the hands, they are up to you, but I would basically either go banded or clasped. Right, classic is an option as well, but I would do banded, and then the waist. Mostly if I'm doing like a Batman themed character, like say I'm doing like Dark Knight or something like that. Simple utility. The hands you could use defend if you want. Right, and then feet are up to you. I usually leave those bare, and then the head is really up to you as well. But if you're making, like say you're making just like a Batman character, right? We'll go like with that concept for now. There's a lot of domino mask, things like that. You just find the right one for you or for your character. Usually it's something like this, right? And then the face would be the Valiant face. In the back, guys, if you hear all that noise in the background, I live in New York. Excuse the noise. If you hear sirens, I didn't do it. Right? They're not looking for me, guys. Right, and then there's your basic Batman. We'll do like quick colors. Right, black and oops, like maybe brown for some emphasis, right? Like if he's like not Batman, but he's Batman, right? And then we could keep the yellow. No, we'll make this red, right? And then you just customize the channel. So you would do like the head. It would be like brown. The chest would be like brown and black to match up with that, right? The hands would be black. The waist would be like red. The legs would be like that. And there you have a vampire Batman kind of thing, right? Pretty straightforward, very easy to do. And you would work on the costume, getting bits and pieces here and there when you level it up, right? If you want a different emblem, and you just need like a Batman emblem, basically, I would use the wings. Right, we're just doing a quick little... No, we would use the circled wings. Right, and then that would be my like fake, my faux Batman, right? That's basically what I would do starting out, and then you get more items when you're leveling up, and you just change your cape here, change your tights there, and eventually you'll get better looking items, things like that, and you'll look how you want to look. Like I said, it's pretty basic and bare bones when you start out. There, if you have something in mind, there's plenty of options. You just kind of got to play around with things and like use the coloring to your advantage, right? And just keep in mind you won't look like this forever. You can level up and get other things, and that's what I would do if I was making a character. And that's basically all there is for it. And then most important thing, guys. One of the most important things to me, because I always have a concept when I'm making a character, would be the name, right? As you guys know, this is the hard part because a lot of the names in the game are taken already. And for each server, only one name per character. And what I mean by that is if your character is called for say, Man-Bat, you will not see another Man-Bat around with the exact same spelling. They would have to put like a bracket or I or L somewhere, or a bunch of spaces, things like that. All right, so have a name in mind. Hopefully, the game is old, so a lot of the names are taken, and there's not really much advice I can give like to be creative because a lot of the names are taken. Right? Like, say I wanted let's say I wanted Man-Bat. It will tell you when you put the name in. The name is invalid or it's unavailable, things like that. Right? Uh, if you have a theme in mind, right? Like what else is like a bat? Like a flying fox, right? So we could call him like Fly Fox. Even that name is taken, as you can see. So the naming aspect is going to be a little frustrating. But once you find the name, it's yours, and hold on to it if you like it. Sadly, like I said, a lot of the names are taken, so it's going to take a minute. Try to have a few names in mind, guys, and don't have your heart set on one name because you more than likely will not get it. So that's basically when it comes to character create, guys. Try to have some fun with it. Don't get discouraged, guys. If you have something in mind, you could probably make like a starter attire for it. And just try to have fun, guys. With that said and done, we are still going to make a character for the game, right? We're gonna unfortunately, since spent a lot of time, I think I spent like an hour talking about this stuff. We will have to we're gonna make a character, but we will start the leveling up process sometime later on down the line, guys. So we're gonna leave character create. We're gonna take a quick look at some of the other characters. uh, if you guys want to see any power in particular or anything like that, let me know. I have Viceroy in mind. Gadgets user, uses flight. Uh, these are my main characters, right? So we're not going to use them, but I have some lower level characters that I can use. Mr. Bitter, Finger Snap, Beta Male, the Prayer Viceroy, Poison Guyvy. I do want to start from scratch, guys, right? That is the thing. And we can like do the leveling up process. We could get to 1 to 30 during some of my playthroughs, and we could do like some of the first few DLCs. That is what I have in mind for this playthrough. So if you guys want to see anything in particular, feel free to let me know. I think we'll be using Batman as a mentor, for sure. And other than that, I'm really not sure what we're gonna do. If you guys don't care about the power set, I think we're gonna use Viceroy. He's already out the ship, but I will do the ship part with a different character just so we can see it, and then I'll switch over to him once that part is done. And we have some work to do on him, as you can see. He needs some wings, he needs a different headpiece, he needs a different chest piece, stuff like that. But we can see how that goes. And I don't have a quantum character. I can make a quantum character. I need a... Let's see. I also need to make an Earth character. So I don't have a quantum or Earth character. I can definitely make them. Let's see. Ice, sorcery, water. I don't have a fire character. I could definitely make a fire character if you guys want as well. But other than that, we can start off with any of the lower power sets. I can use an ice character as well if you guys want to see ice. So entirely up to you guys. But other than that, I think we probably will start out with Viceroy, right? We're gonna start out with him, but we will go through the Brainiac ship, right? So we're gonna create a character. We're gonna do a quick archetype choosing, right? We're gonna go to the Brainiac ship, and then when I do the real playthrough, we will pick our character, and we'll do the real playthrough. So we'll just do something basic, inspired by Batman. We'll leave it at that. Now we need a name. How about How about my brain is really, I'm working extra hard here. I'm working extra hard. So how about this is probably taken, right? But we will try it out. It is taken. Okay. How about what about okay. We can go with this. And we will start the game, guys. We'll just take a look at the Brainiac ship. Uh, Once you finish the tutorial one time, guys, you can skip it on your next character. Keep that in mind. You just got to do this thing one time.
I do not plan an invasion, rather an assimilation. I have identified key junctions in Earth's vast nexus of knowledge. These I will capture and digitize first. Of course, some non-essential information may be captured as well. This will be sorted and purged once the digitizing is complete. Earth's resistance does not concern me. There is no intellect strong enough, or power brutal enough to resist me. Soon this planet and all it contains will be mine. Intriguing. There is an anomaly in Earth's atmosphere. Beginning analysis. These exobytes are my own technology, each one holding unknown stores of digitized power from Earth's future. My harvester ships will simply reclaim the data provided by these exobytes and seal Earth's fate. This is a new obstacle. These humans resist my assimilation. My conversion cannot hold them. Let the humans use their powers. In the end, they too will belong to Brainiac.
There we have it, guys. That cutscene was added later on down the line. You never usually see that. If you have like an old school character, right? You never would usually see that unless you're making a new character. And so we're starting on the ship. As you can see, it's a little janky, right?
Fancy meeting you here. I'm Superman, and I'm going to get you off this ship. And that's Oracle. She's going to help us navigate through Brainiac's defenses. Be on your toes.
So what I think we're going to do is we're going to go barehanded for our primary weapon. And then we're going to hold all the styles.
While we're here, we need to stop this ship.
And this is just a tutorial, guys, right? So you escaped the Brainiac pod. For some reason, you're in full hero regalia. And you got up out of there. And it just wants you to use your weapon attacks, right? Use them to break this stuff. You don't have any powers yet, so you just have to use your weapon. You can zoom in on your character by holding one of the shoulder buttons and tapping up and down. You can zoom in. If you hold your ranged attack, you do your heavy ranged. tapping it does the light range attack. Right, holding your melee attack does your heavy melee, and you can combo in once you get combos going into different combos. Excuse me. So you can end your combos differently, depending on the amount of like light attacks and heavy attacks that you clip in. Following up. And it's very straightforward. Right now you don't have any powers. If you can see, I have like a can of soda there, right? That's called soda cola. That's how you get your life back. You would drink a soda when you get low. And they give us our first power. I think it's taser pull. This is my movement mode. I'm doing acrobats, right? I'm just running a little bit faster, right? And I can glide. Once you get to level 9, you get unlocked like the extra parts of your movement mode. So I'll get like rocket assisted glide and things like that, and like my grapple hook. But for now, that's all you get, guys. And straightforward. Straightforward. You use your power. As you can see, the blue bar is your power bar. And for those of you that are like classic MMOs, that's your mana bar. And you need mana to cast mana-related moves, or you need power to cast your superpowers. So keep that in mind. You can't do it forever. Right, there's going to be a cooldown period where you have to use your weapons a little bit. While you level up, you see those little baubles that drop out, like these blue and purple orbs. When you kill enemies, you'll get power back, and I'm not quite sure what the purple thing is. I think it's experience. Yeah, the purple's experience. You don't get that end game. You won't get the blue baubles. Keep that in mind, guys. So you have to manage your own powers. Keep yourself topped up. These green barrels you see off to the right, if you're having problems, guys, you can either hit the barrel, and there's an aura that heals you the whole time you're standing in it, or you can pick it up and smash it on the floor. You know, throw it at people, things like that. Right, there you go. Very basic. Right, just throwing the ninja star at people. Doing the taser pull. The taser pull does pull them towards you in case you want them closer, so you can just really give them a ground pound. Right, we'll do it right now. There you go. Unfortunately, Superman moved them away, but there you have it, guys. As you can see beneath me, there's like a green bar filling up. That is my experience bar. Right, so, you know, you get more experience the more you kill things, the more missions you complete, you'll get experience. The max level in this game is at 30, and once you hit 30, that's when you get to end game. And then then your level will be based on your gear score. So if you see people that have like 200 or 300 Nexidium, that's like all their combined gear that they're wearing. Pretty straightforward. I think they really did streamline the tutorial, because it was I think it was a little too long when you first started the game. And I know some people were having problems finishing the tutorial as well when they tried to like retrofit it again. So this is like the third iteration of it, I believe. It might even be the fourth, because I haven't made a new character in a very long time. I think you just hear it long enough to beat all these troops down, basically. And they added in like iconic characters coming to help you. They would come like towards the end of the tutorial, right? And you would be pretty much here solo, doing all this stuff. But I guess they thought it would be more engaging for you to fight alongside, you know, the people you idolize the whole time, if you're a comic book fan. Like I said, guys, we're just doing the tutorial so you guys can see it. And then when I start like the real playthrough, because I spent a lot of time just talking about the beginning of the game, right? All the character create options and stuff like that. When we start, we'll have like a character that's pre-made off the Brainiac ship and ready for the playthrough. Since some people want to see Quantum, he might possibly be Quantum. Which is, that's no big deal. We can definitely do that. I just gotta do some brainstorming for it to, for Monday stream, because I do stream on weekdays usually. But that'll give me a couple days to think about character concept and things like that. And this is my second power. I basically, it's called Fear Gas, but it used to be called like, what was it called? Let's take a look at it. Well, it's called Fear Gas, so we're gonna call it Fear Gas. I basically just spray some mist in their face, and it irritates them, right? And it has a power interaction. If I do electrified, and then I do that, you see they light on fire, they blow up, and I can cast it a couple times to people. You can see it's a damage over time. Right, and there you go, you see the text, guys. Gadgets is a very good power set as well. And we're just gonna throw some shurikens. We're just trying to make it through, basically. There's some red barrels in here you can blow up, some green ones if you need the health. We'll talk about feats and things like that for skill points later on. And, you know, it's basic tutorial stuff. I'm sorry I'm being a little quiet, but it's basic tutorial stuff. You just fight your way out the ship. And once you do this, guys, keep in mind you don't got to do it ever again. When you make a new character, you can have the option to skip the tutorial, which thankfully is an option, because if you're ultaholic, you don't want to keep making characters and going through this over and over again. It's not, you know, you want to get into leveling up, right? You don't want to just be doing this the whole time. So you just do what you can here. You just punch and kick and throw your powers at things until they die. And you have Brainiac there. You just fight Brainiac. You know, you cast the power, or you do the power to him. You do the auto power to him. What's going good, man? Oh, you're not feeling good? I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Please make sure you get some rest, man. Rest up, try to feel better, bro. Try to feel better. I'm sure you won't miss much tonight. Right, you're just gonna have the basic Diablo stream. Definitely get some rest though, man. Try to feel better. Being sick is one of the worst things in the world. Especially when you're sick, right? Can't stand it. But try to feel better, man. Get some rest. Just like that, guys, you're out of the tutorial. I think a cutscene should play. Getting out. I hope you have some medicine, right? I hope you have some soup and stuff like that. Just try to take it easy.
Failed. Brainiac came to Earth to destroy it.
I think after this cutscene, we're going to end the stream for now. Anyway, it was an impromptu stream, so I just thought I'd get some time out there.
A dying version of Earth's greatest villain brought us a weapon from the future, stolen from Brainiac himself. New heroes to withstand Brainiac. And new villains to exploit the madness. I will train these heroes to fight the sick chaos of the Joker and the evils that face us all. I am Batman.
We're just watching this cutscene for the folks out
Has
there.
only begun.
Ah, man, that sucks. I think I had it like once, maybe 6 or 7 months back. So I understand how it goes. I was doing the security thing, so I was around a lot of people, even though, some of them did test positive and things like that. I was under, I can't tell you exactly where I worked, but I was working in a secure location, right, where there was a lot of people of interest that I can't name, and some of them did test positive and things like that, and we were not at liberty to discuss that with other folks that were there. So I'm pretty sure I did get it one time a while back, and like I'm asthmatic on top of that, right? So it felt like I was gonna die every day. But you'll make it through, man. You will make it through. Just try to keep resting if you can, and I guess if you're worried about it, get a test done. And there you have it, guys. When you finish this tutorial, you're going to be in Gotham if you're a Batman mentor. You're going to be in Gotham. This is the starting area. You're in GCPD somewhere. You're in the East End GCPD station. And then you just pick up your missions, guys. I think when we do this playthrough for real, I'm going to have a character ready for the playthrough. We're going to have somebody different here. I think we'll do this particular playthrough on Monday because I stream on the weekdays, guys, usually, and today's the last day of the week. So 8 p.m., guys, I will be back Eastern time. We're going to do our Diablo 2 playthrough. We're working on hell difficulty, guys. I hope I can see you all there. Yeah, honestly, there's really not too much to worry about unless you're like a lot older, And then even then, if you're a lot older, getting sick is like a big deal in itself, just because your body can't handle it, right? So it's really, you really would. I wasn't worried, right? I got a little sick for a while, and then that was about it. And then I did do some traveling, and I had to get a couple tests done, and I tested negative. So you know, I just some people would just sit there and they're like hypochondriacs about it, and I understand to a point, wanting to stay healthy. So I get it, but try not to let it run your whole mind, guys. Right? Uh, that's great. That's great. My grandpa did get it too, actually, and he was just sick for like the week, and then he eventually tested negative, and he was just hospitalized that way they could watch his like fluids and stuff like that, right? And he got out the hospital pretty quickly. He was okay. So try not to worry about it too much, guys. I would still say get some rest though, man. Definitely. Even if you're just a little sick, I personally want to heal as fast as possible. So just try to take it easy, man. Just try to take it easy. And with that said, if you're up for it, I will see you at 8 p.m., my friend. If not, get some rest. I totally understand. Guys, thank you so much for watching me. We're one person away from 10 followers. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. I'm very excited, guys. Hope to see you 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to do our Diablo 2 playthrough. We are on Hell difficulty. We're using the Druid, guys. If you guys want to see me play Diablo 2, come back 8 p.m. If not, get some rest, guys. Try to feel better. I hope to see you guys later. If you don't know who I am, guys, my name is Shadow. I stream every day. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy, guys. Thank you so much.